Okay, I'm back for the next installment of Modal Harmony. So, today I'm going to talk about the Dorian mode. This is actually one of my favorite modes. I've probably explained this before, but I'll explain it briefly. So, this consists of the root, the second, the flat third, the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, the sixth, major sixth, at flat 7, and then the root again. So this is a minor mode, but it's not as sad as the other minors. So that's one of the things that makes it, one of my favorite modes. This one is kind of it has kind of like a cool sound, and lots of times you hear this like in funk music or fusion music, or sometimes even in blues they use this. So it's not as sad as, for example, the Aeolian mode or any other minor mode. So that's one of the cool things. But let's get into more of the harmony stuff. So, before I told you about like the characteristic notes. If you don't know about that, look at the first video in the series. So, if we're talking about C Dorian, the root note is C, and the two characteristic notes are E flat and A. E flat is the flat third and A is the sixth. So the two characteristic notes for the Dorian mode are the flat third and the sixth. So if you want to evoke this kind of like Dorian character, use these two notes. Before I go into some common chord progressions, I'll talk about some songs that are, built on the Dorian mode. So an old song that's very common and a lot of people know is Scarborough Fair. So that song, I believe, is made from the Dorian mode. So an old time song like Scarborough Fair, which isn't really funky or that cool, but hopefully you understand what it sounds like by listening to it. Carlos Santana also has many songs using this. I believe Oye Como Va uses this mode, and I think maybe Black Magic Woman, but don't quote me on that, I don't know. But I know Oye Como Va is using this. And in fact, Frank Zappa wrote a song called the Carlos Santana Secret Chord Progression because Carlos Santana uses that same chord progression all the time. So that's another one. And also I believe Joe Satriani's Surfing with the Alien is also in Dorian. So if you check out Joe Satriani or Steve Vai, you'll find lots of songs written using this mode. So this one is actually a really common mode to use. But now on to the chord progressions. The first one I'm going to show you is actually the Carlos Santana Secret Chord Progression. So this, in the key of C Dorian, or the modality of C Dorian, is C minor 7 followed by F7. And so all you have to do is put, some bongos under there and, play some into the Dorian mode with a Mesa Boogie amplifier, and you'll have it. So. So it's that type of sound. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. So just don't go to the one, then you're starting to play jazz. So don't do this. Next one is very easy. It's going from the 1 minor to the 2 minor. So in this case, C, it would be C minor 7, or just C minor, to D minor 7. So I'll give you an example. Something like that. Another thing, I probably talked about this before, but also make sure you really emphasize the 1 chord, this 1 minor 7, because this has the root and it has one of the characteristic notes. But if you don't, by either putting it like the first chord or making it the longest chord by duration in there, you kind of lose the modality. So if I do, it doesn't sound like it's C Dorian anymore. It changes the modality. So make sure the C is longer than the others, or it's the first, or just do something to emphasize it so you know that's the focus, so you don't lose the modality. Another one you can do is by using the, like I said, upper structure triads. So in this case, you could do like a C minor 7, and then do a F triad over a C bass note. So something like this. Easy enough, right? Luckily, this mode actually has a chord that is characteristic of the mode. So before, when I showed you the Ionian and I showed you like the root note, which was like C, F, and B, if you play those together, it sounds kind of bad. So Ionian, you can't do this. But luckily in Dorian you can. So if you take the root note, the sixth, the flat third, which is E flat, and the G, which is the fifth, and you put them together, it actually makes a C minor sixth chord. It actually doesn't sound that bad. So you can just play this the whole time if you want to do like a Dorian progression. Or another common thing you could do is go from the minor 7 to the natural 7, like this. Like that. So you can make a chord progression like that, or you can even add something else to it like this. So only thing I did there is I just did the minor 7, the minor 6th, and then I did a B flat triad over a C bass note, like that, and then back to the C minor 7. Another really common chord progression you can use is this C minor 7 and then go to a G, so G minor 7. But if you just go to the normal G minor 7 like this, it doesn't really outline the modality, I should say. So this could be a C minor Dorian progression, or C Dorian progression, but it could also be something else, like for example a C Aeolian progression. You don't know. But if you use a G minor 7, or say a G minor 7 with the added 9, it becomes a Dorian progression. So C minor 7, G minor 7 with the added 9, like that. Something like that, or well, something like so those types of things you can do. There's other things you can do. I'm just showing like 2 chord examples, but you can put together longer examples than this. Just keep in mind you want this root note to seem like the actual tonality. So if you're doing it in C Dorian, you want to emphasize this C character, like a C minor or C minor 7, etc. And so one way you can do that is by using these kinds of like triads and using C in the bass the whole time. So I could do like C minor 7, F over C, F triad over C, go back to C minor 7, then go to B flat triad over C. So something like that. And that way you always have the C in the bass, so that way it maintains the modality. Another thing you can do is by duration and time. So I could make the one chord longer in duration. I'll give you an example. So that one was just a C minor 7 followed by D minor 7. So that was like one of the first ones I showed you, that same progression. Then I added a G minor 7. That doesn't really outline the modality, but you already had it outlined by the D minor 7. You could also change that to a G minor 7 with a 9 if you really wanted to outline it. But then I went to the F which is another one of the early ones I showed you. So just like that. And so that outlines it, and it's not quite as short as those 2 chord progressions, so you can add more things. And obviously you can like link some of these quick like 2 chord progressions into longer progressions by putting them together, so feel free to do that. And also, if you're playing something like jazz, modal jazz, don't forget these chordal voicings. So a song like So What by Miles Davis or Impressions by John Coltrane use these a lot. So like Impressions is just these 2 chords in chordal harmony. I lied, that was more than 2 chords, and in the song they use more than 2, but almost the whole song they just use these chordal voicings, so learn those and use those. And the other voicings I showed before, also you can use those. So there's a lot of things you can do with Dorian, and this one will serve you well. Lots of songs are built on this, and there's lots of things you can do with it. It has a really nice sound, so check it out. If you have any questions or anything else, let me know, and there should be another one of these on the Phrygian mode coming soon. So until then, see you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please remember to thumbs it up, check out some of my other videos below, and don't forget, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.